Ravi Sood, a name synonymous with ambitious business ventures in developing nations, a man who promised progress and prosperity, but a closer look at his career reveals a trail of broken promises, financial turmoil, and alleged human rights abuses. From the rainforests of Liberia to the mineral-rich lands of the Congo, Sood's ventures have left behind a legacy of shattered dreams and unanswered questions. This essay delves into the troubled history of Ravi Sood's business dealings, examining the human cost of his pursuit of profit. Sood's story is a cautionary tale of how good intentions without proper oversight and ethical conduct can lead to devastating consequences. His ventures, often backed by substantial investments from development banks and government agencies, promised economic growth and improved livelihoods for local communities. However, these promises often rang hollow as accusations of land grabbing, environmental destruction, and worker exploitation surfaced. The pattern of alleged misconduct across multiple continents raises serious concerns about Sood's business practices. Were these isolated incidents, or do they point to a systemic disregard for ethical considerations in the pursuit of profit? This essay will explore these questions by examining 4 of Sood's most controversial ventures: Buchanan Renewables in Liberia, Feronia Inc. in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Mupani gold mine in Botswana, and his involvement with Rousseau Forest Products and Golconda Gold. In the aftermath of a devastating civil war, Liberia was desperate for economic revival. Buchanan Renewables, with Ravi Sood's close associate James Steele at the helm, promised to deliver just that. The company proposed an ambitious project, a biomass power plant fueled by wood chips intended to bring much-needed electricity to the region. The United States government's Overseas Private Investment Corporation, OPIC, bought into the vision, approving a staggering $217 million loan. However, the project quickly went off the rails. Instead of generating electricity for Liberia, Buchanan Renewables began shipping the wood chips to Europe. The power plant remained unfinished, a stark monument to broken promises. Meanwhile, allegations of labor abuses, including sexual exploitation and unsafe working conditions, began to surface. The company was also accused of desecrating ancestral graves and causing significant environmental damage through its logging operations. When the dust settled, Buchanan Renewables had collapsed, leaving behind a trail of devastation. Over 600 workers were laid off, their livelihoods shattered. The promised economic growth never materialized, and the company's legacy in Liberia remains one of bitterness and betrayal. The Buchanan Renewables debacle serves as a stark example of how foreign investment, without proper oversight and ethical considerations, can exacerbate existing problems and leave communities worse off than before. Ravi Sood's involvement with Feronia Inc., a large-scale agricultural company operating in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, further cemented his controversial reputation. As chairman and managing director, Sood oversaw a company that had received over $150 million in funding from international development banks, including the German investment corporation, DIGA. The stated goal? To revitalize palm oil plantations and create jobs in one of the world's poorest countries. However, Feronia Inc.'s operations soon became mired in controversy. Local communities accused the company of land grabbing, claiming that their ancestral lands had been seized without proper compensation or consent. Reports of human rights abuses, including violence and intimidation against local communities, began to emerge. The promised economic benefits failed to materialize, and Feronia Inc. spiraled into bankruptcy in 2020. The company's collapse did little to alleviate the suffering of the affected communities. Mediation efforts to address land rights and compensation stalled, leaving many in limbo. The fact that Feronia Inc.'s assets were subsequently acquired by Kuramo Capital, a firm with links to Sood, only deepened suspicions about the true motives behind the venture. The Feronia Inc. saga highlights the complexities and potential pitfalls of large-scale agricultural investments in developing countries, particularly when transparency and respect for local communities are lacking. The Mupani gold mine in Botswana, once a source of national pride, became yet another flashpoint in Ravi Sood's controversial career. As CEO of Ghanaian Gold, the company that owned the mine, Sood orchestrated its sale to Hawks Gold, a company with close ties to Mupani Gold's own management. The deal immediately raised red flags with concerns about transparency and potential conflicts of interest. The Botswana Mine Workers Union, BMW, vehemently opposed the sale, citing a history of labor disputes and concerns about job security under the new ownership. The union pointed to allegations of unsafe working conditions at the mine, including inadequate safety measures that exposed workers to the risk of silicosis, a debilitating lung disease. Furthermore, the BMW accused Mupana Gold, under Sood's leadership, of failing to pay royalties owed to the government and neglecting its environmental rehabilitation commitments. The Mupane gold mine controversy underscores the crucial role that labor unions play in holding corporations accountable and protecting the rights of workers. It also highlights the importance of government oversight in ensuring that mining operations adhere to environmental and safety regulations and contribute fairly to the national economy. Section 5: Rousseau Forest Products and Golconda Gold. Shadows in the Forest. While information on Sood's involvement with Rousseau Forest Products and Golconda Gold remains shrouded in secrecy, his documented history of business dealings necessitates a closer examination of these ventures. Were these companies plagued by the same issues that plagued his other ventures: allegations of human rights abuses, environmental damage, and questionable financial dealings? A thorough investigation into Sood's tenure at both companies is crucial to understanding the full scope of his business practices. Did Rousseau Forest Products engage in unsustainable logging practices, decimating valuable ecosystems and displacing indigenous communities? Did Golconda Gold prioritize profit over the well-being of its workers and the environment? These questions demand answers. The lack of transparency surrounding these ventures only amplifies calls for greater scrutiny of Sood's business activities. Section 6: The Shadow of Subsidy Harvesting. A recurring theme throughout Ravi Sood's career is the question of whether his companies benefited from government subsidies, and if so, whether these funds were used responsibly. Did Sood's ventures exploit government programs designed to incentivize economic development, only to leave taxpayers footing the bill for failed projects? The potential misuse of public funds adds another layer of complexity to the narrative surrounding Sood's business dealings. Were taxpayers' dollars used to enrich Sood and his associates while communities remained mired in poverty? A thorough investigation into the financial dealings of Sood's companies is crucial to determine whether any wrongdoing occurred. The possibility of subsidy harvesting raises serious ethical questions and underscores the need for greater transparency and accountability in the allocation and use of public funds. Section 7: The Absence of Community Vibrancy. Perhaps the most damning indictment of Ravi Sood's business ventures is the consistent lack of community development and vibrancy in the wake of his company's operations. Despite promises of economic growth and improved livelihoods, the communities impacted by Sood's ventures often experienced the opposite: environmental degradation, loss of livelihoods, and a breakdown of social structures. The absence of thriving communities stands in stark contrast to the rosy picture painted by Sood and his associates. It speaks to a fundamental disconnect between the pursuit of profit and the well-being of the people and environments directly impacted by these ventures. The lack of investment in sustainable community development raises serious questions about the true motives behind these projects. Section 8: A Legacy of Unanswered Questions. Ravi Sood's career is a study in contrasts. On the surface, a successful entrepreneur with a knack for attracting investment and embarking on ambitious projects. Yet beneath the veneer of success lies a trail of broken promises, alleged human rights abuses, and environmental devastation. His story is a stark reminder that economic development cannot come at the expense of human dignity and environmental sustainability. As we move forward, it is imperative to learn from the mistakes of the past. Greater scrutiny of foreign investment, stricter enforcement of ethical business practices, and a renewed commitment to community engagement are essential to ensuring that economic development benefits all stakeholders, not just a select few. The legacy of Ravi Sood's business dealings should serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder that the pursuit of profit must never overshadow our responsibility to protect the planet and its people.